What is going on, guys? Welcome to the very first video on this channel. Today we are talking about whether you should buy UFC 236 headlined by Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier. The fight takes place tomorrow night on ESPN Plus pay-per-view, so that means you must buy the ESPN Plus app, which is going for $5 a month, and inside the app you can purchase the pay-per-view, which I believe is going for $60. So that means you must have the ESPN Plus app to be able to purchase any pay-per-views from here on out. You cannot buy it through a cable provider or a satellite provider, and you can't buy it through YouTube. It must be through the ESPN Plus app. But is tomorrow's card worthy of your $65? To answer that, I will be looking at the main card, looking at the matches. Do they have any title implications? Are the fighters ranked? How exciting are the matchups? And at the end of this video, I will be giving the overall card a score from 1 to 10. 10 being absolutely you must purchase this card, invite your family over, throw a party because you cannot miss this card. And the 1 being call your mama, call your grandmother, go to sleep early because this card is not worth your time. And just to be clear, I will be reviewing this fight card on paper. Obviously the matches have not occurred yet, so this review video is a review of the matches on paper and if this card is worth your money. Obviously we've seen many fight cards that are considered bad on paper that turn out to be one of the best action fight cards of the year. However, when we're spending $65 on a card, we don't have that luxury of knowing how the card is going to turn out. So this video is a recommendation of whether or not you should buy tomorrow's card based on the fights on paper. So without further ado, let's look at the first fight on tomorrow's pay-per-view card. We have Ovince St. Preux versus Nikita Krylov. It is a rematch of their 2014 match, which OSP won by submission. Personally, I believe this match as a pay-per-view opener is fine. You know, it's a semi-interesting match. OSP is currently rated number 12 in the world. Nikita Krylov is not rated. However, I believe it's an interesting matchup. You know, both fighters have improved since then. They've had their ups, they've had their downs. It gives Krylov an opportunity to get in the rankings. It gives OSP an opportunity to cement himself in the top 15 of the light heavyweight division. So as a pay-per-view opener, I'm not too salty about it. I'm fine with it. You know, I think it's a solid matchup. It's a decent matchup, and as a pay-per-view opener, it's alright. My main issue with this main card is the next 2 matchups after that one. You have Alan Jobin versus Dwight Grant and Eric Anders versus Khalil Roundtree. The fights themselves aren't really bad matchups. However, when you're putting these fights on a pay-per-view card, I believe the fighters should be ranked at least, maybe not in the top 5, but at least ranked. You know, maybe top 15, or maybe put a hot prospect against one of the lower ranked veterans. However, these fights, they don't really have any of that. You know, they're 4 fighters who are unranked. They're not fighting for title implications. You know, they're not really prospects in the sport. I believe they're all in their 30s. So there's not really anything there that screams, you know, pay-per-view worthy for me. I believe these 2 matchups would have been better sorted, put in the ESPN portion of this pay-per-view card, like the prelims, or just save the matchups and put it on the main card of an ESPN Plus card. I believe the fights themselves, like I said, they're not going to be bad matchups. Alan Jobin usually comes to fight. You know, he comes to fight, he throws down. Most of his fights end in a finish. You know, Eric Anders, Khalil Roundtree, they're both big guys. They could definitely bang. So I believe the fights themselves will have action, but on a pay-per-view card, I'm not really feeling it. You know, I'm not really feeling the matchups because it's on a pay-per-view. You would not hear me complaining about this if it was on ESPN or ESPN Plus, but just the fact that it's on a pay-per-view card, kinda, you know, I'm not really feeling it too much. But next we get to the co-main event, and here we have Kelvin Gastelum versus Israel Adesanya fighting for the UFC interim middleweight title. And this fight, I believe, is pay-per-view worthy from every single aspect. You know, it's a title fight. It's 2 highly ranked guys. You have Kelvin Gastelum, currently ranked number 4, versus Israel Adesanya, currently ranked number 5. And the fight itself should be action-packed, or at least if you're a fan of technical striking, I should say, you're going to find this fight fascinating. I believe that Kelvin Gastelum has to close the distance. You know, he's on a huge physical disadvantage, but you know, it's not his first time facing a bigger man. but he will definitely have to close the distance using his footwork, using his head movement, and try to land that patented 1-2 down the middle and try to catch Adesanya going back. And Israel Adesanya is going to want to keep the distance against Kelvin Gastelum, maybe keep a jab in his face, throw a few feints, throw some elbows, throw some kicks, pretty much just take advantage of his physical advantages and try to win the fight as it goes on. So tactically, the fight itself is very, very interesting. You know, the guys are highly ranked. It's a title fight. So I absolutely have nothing bad to say about this fight. And it is more than worthy of a co-main event on the pay-per-view card. And in the main event, we have Max Blast Holloway versus Dustin the Diamond Poirier. They will be fighting for the interim UFC lightweight title. And much like the co-main event, this is an absolutely phenomenal fight. Definitely pay-per-view worthy from every single angle. You know, it's two highly ranked guys. You have Max Holloway, the featherweight king, moving up to take on Dustin Poirier, who is currently ranked number 3. It is a rematch of their first fight, in which Dustin Poirier was able to win by submission. It's highly intriguing. They're both currently on winning streaks. You have Max Holloway. He's coming off a huge victory over Brian Ortega. Dustin Poirier is coming off a big victory over Eddie Alvarez. You know, it's two guys in their absolute primes throwing down for the UFC title. And the fight itself should be action-packed. You have two guys who are volume punchers. They throw punches in bunches. They try to overwhelm their opponents with activity. They have phenomenal stamina. So I believe that there is no way that we're not going to get a fantastic action-packed fight. And of course, the winner of this fight will presumably be facing Khabib Nurmagomedov in their next fight, probably taking place sometime in November or December. And that is another reason why this fight is very intriguing. It will be interesting to see if one of these guys has a huge performance, if he makes a statement and gets people even more intrigued to see a possible Khabib fight. So now it is score time. I have looked at the main card. I have talked about it. I have given my thoughts on it. So from 1 to 10, for me personally, I would give this card overall, or the pay-per-view portion of it, a 7 out of 10. I think the top two fights, the main event and the co-main event, are of the highest caliber. They're pay-per-view worthy fights in every single aspect. And those two fights save the card overall, because I think you take one of these fights out and all of a sudden the score, in my opinion, would drop way lower. But you have two phenomenal fights to look forward to as the card progresses. The rest of the card, like I said, not really blowing my mind. But you know, they should be fun action fights. So should you buy this fight card? Would I recommend you that you spend your hard-earned money on this fight card pay-per-view? Yes, I personally would buy this card, because like I said, the first two fights are phenomenal. The main event winner will be facing Khabib Nurmagomedov, probably. And the co-main event winner will be facing Robert Whittaker, probably. Now I could definitely see some people arguing against it. You know, this fight card definitely skipped leg day. It is very top heavy. You know, the first two fights phenomenal, but it definitely drops a bit in quality from there on. So I could see some guys saying, you know, it's not worthy of it, worthy of your money. But in my opinion, like I said, the first two fights are fantastic. The rest of the card will be action-packed, in my opinion. You know, on paper, these are guys that throw down. So I would recommend you to buy this card. If you can, invite some friends over, you know, split the cost of the pay-per-view so you don't spend the 65 bucks completely. You know, drink some beers, eat some pizza, eat some wings, whatever, and buy this card. You're not going to regret it. Even if the first three fights turn out to be trash, the last two fights will make it up for it. So definitely buy this pay-per-view. In my opinion, 7 out of 10 is the score. If you disagree or you agree, comment down below. I want to hear your thoughts. And if you're a boxing fan or MMA fan, definitely subscribe to this channel. I will be doing fight card reviews like this video. I will be doing fight card previews, analyzing the fights a little bit more in depth. I will be doing boxing videos, MMA videos. So if you are a fan of these sports, make sure you subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any more of my upcoming content. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like, share, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.